Welcome to the Dynasty Happy Hour podcast. Pull up a chair and kick up your feet as you get ready to enjoy some of the industry's most entertaining and actionable Dynasty content on the planet. We're talking veterans, rookies, sleepers, and oh yeah, you know the crew has those dad jokes ready for you. So let's not wait any longer and bring on the host or some combination of Doug, James, and Tyler.
Welcome back to the Dynasty Happy Hour podcast. That is right. You are hearing me and you're not hearing Doug because Doug had a little thing going on. It is me, Tyler Gunther. That is right. The founder of Dynasty Happy Hour long ago. I decided I'm going to host today. And you know what? I'm here with my good friend, James Crease. How's it going, James?
Good. I'm always happy when you turn around and say, oh, I want to host. I mean, that takes some responsibility off of me. So I like that. I like this where this is going already.
I used to do it back in the day and I was not great at it, but you know what? I am here. We will step back into the seat and we'll talk about playoff matchups that we had and how sad they were or how happy we are that we have made it. So
it's a happy hour for this guy right here.
It's a happy hour. So for me, I've lost one. I've had a couple bye weeks. And in the listener league, I came away with the win.
Very nice.
Yeah, so here I am. And first of all, I want to talk about our sponsor. One of our main sponsors. I used it yesterday, and that is Manscaped. And you know what? I feel smooth. I feel good. And James, you got a story at all about Manscaped you want to tell?
Actually, yeah. I kept it under wraps for a while, and then last night it happened. I was put in the moment where I needed to run into the bathroom, brush my teeth, and grab some Manscaped. And I will tell you what, it definitely ended with a smile. So that's as far as I can go with it without being too graphic. You know, I don't know our ratings or, whatever. We're not that kind of show. But yes, the Manscaped 4.0, the lawnmower, it's amazing. It's not lawnmower season per se, but I guess you can.
The best thing about the lawnmower 4.0 is, when Santa couldn't see in the snow, what did he do? He got his old pal Rudolph to glide his sleigh, and you know what the lawnmower 4.0 has? A light to glide the way.
To glide the way or guide the way?
Same thing. Because it glides. I mean, it doesn't nick.
I mean, the razor will glide, and so will Santa's sleigh.
Santa's sleigh. It's the same thing. You guys get the analogy. Because there's a light there to guide you in the dark when you can't see. When you can't see anything. And you know what? I love that little light. You think it wouldn't matter. It does.
Oh, it matters.
And also, why don't you go out and get yourself the weed whacker for the nose. And some other products like you need a little spritzer halfway through the day.
They have the crop preserver.
Yes,
they have the crop reviver. Some
100%.
Some spray for your tingly days, and then use the code DHH.
Yes,
for 20% off at checkout. Manscaped, your balls will thank you for it. I know mine thank me every.
It's a great gift.
Day.
Great gift. And even if you missed out, you can be like, you know what, screw it. You're going to get a late Christmas present. Go ahead and do that. And so let's get into a little bit of injuries. I know I'm kind of all over the place. Let's see here. Injuries. I'm going through the list, and here we are with the injuries. Dameon Pierce, high ankle sprain, out for the season. He was, he started off hot and then simmered for about 3 games and then came back on. High ankle sprain. You know what? We got a couple of them. Jonathan Taylor as well. Another high ankle sprain. He's had a rough year.
Rough year to say the least. Yes.
The volume, the value of Jonathan Taylor has definitely fallen, and Dameon Pierce as well. What do you think about these two players? We'll just kind of lump them together.
Yeah, I think that both of their teams really stink. The Colts can't seem to get out of their own way.
That's an understatement.
They can't find a quarterback to actually get something done. and I'm just guided off the screen here while my Giants just take the lead over
Thibodeau,
Washington.
who's having a monster game.
Yes. Oh, I love him. My son was wearing his jersey today, so shout out Kayvon Thibodeau. But no, Damian Pierce was great for the season. Great rookie. Unfortunately, the high ankle sprain, and they were going to put him on IR, but what the heck? I mean, that just kills it for the rest of the season. Who knows what that team is going to do in the future? As far as quarterback, as far as running back, they have their pick of the litter pretty much, because they are in last place, if I'm not mistaken.
They will have the first pick, and it sounds like from a lot of people I've been listening to in podcasts that are big into the draft, they think it will be Bryce Young, because he's the most pro-ready, despite the size concerns and all that, which I think in a dome is a good fit. They just need to get him a weapon. I could see them going quarterback first round, like Joe Burrow, and then a wide receiver with that early second-round pick, because they do need a receiver. And don't forget, John Mechie comes back, hopefully, from his recovery next season.
I can't wait for Mechie.
I loved his tape. He's like Jerry Jeudy, but maybe a little less talented, but same style player, almost exactly alike. So I know you're not a Jeudy fan, but he is more of the...
He's a speedster.
He's the one that you
on the outside perimeter.
You like the price for him. Like the Judy's a little overpriced, and he's the underpriced Jerry Jeudy, especially with a new quarterback that, hey, played with him at Alabama. So if that matchup does happen, we could be looking at you know what? Do you want to stamp buy low approval on John Mechie for next season? Because I'll do it.
Yeah, I will definitely do that.
Yeah, love the guy, and hopefully he comes back. But the biggest news of last week that we just missed, Kyler Murray, torn ACL. And the thing is it was very late in the season. And also, with his double XP Call of Duty, he might not get the surgery. No, I'm kidding. I have no idea when he's going to get the surgery. But Kyler Murray, dream scenario for him, because, it's prime Call of Duty season. But all jokes aside, he is going to dig into the 2023 season, I think. And also, as a running quarterback, he might not be right mentally and physically until 2024. Now, Kyler was a top 6, top 7 quarterback in Dynasty. Maybe not for us personally, because we weren't the biggest Kyler people. But Kyler Murray, are you worried about him after this injury?
I'm worried about it. The whole organization.
I should have brought that.
To be honest, I mean, as of late, we heard Steve Keim was put on family medical leave or some AKA he may be fired. So that's just alarming. I don't know if Kyler is going to do anything moving forward. Like, we don't know where Kingsbury is going to be. We don't know where this franchise is going to be. It's really
Cliff needs to go.
Cliff needs to go, but with Cliff gone, Kyler Murray goes too. I think they're kind of a package deal.
But what if because there's rumors Sean Payton said it's either the Chargers or the Cardinals. Now, Sean Payton comes in with Kyler. I think that's a game changer because, hey, Sean Payton brought in a 5'11" quarterback that, had big-time accuracy but didn't have the arm strength. I think he could change Kyler, and especially with the game changing for Kyler with this injury, it could be a plus. But the issue is when is he going to come back?
Yeah, I think if anything, it's a long-term buy low situation on Kyler Murray until he actually is back.
And I still don't know.
I don't really know if I want to do it.
I mean, halfway in the year, I made a trade in UDPL. I got 2 first-rounders. One looks like 103, and I got Greg Dulcich and Evan Ingram in the trade.
You mean top 5 tight end Evan Ingram?
And I also got Jameis Winston in that trade, which I personally think Jameis should be a starter in this league. But that's just me. I don't know.
I think you're moving past the important part of that sentence when I said top 5.
That's because Kyle Pitts got hurt. That's the only reason why. But
oh gosh.
All right, but any other injuries that really happened? I don't think anything happened today with injuries.
No, nothing too serious as of yet that I've seen.
Yeah,
couple bumps and bruises, but nothing to write home about.
Cardinals fans, I know
we'll get into some of it when we hit the games. I think.
All right, we'll get right into those games, but first I want to talk about our longtime sponsor and our friends over at Trophy Smack. The best gift for your fantasy league, because it is Christmas time, and the best gift for your own fantasy league is Trophy Smack. And if you use code DHHRing when you purchase a belt or a trophy, you get one of these amazing free rings. I've got one on my desk sitting there for Doug and I's Trade Addict 7 championship. And hey, I will never forget it. It was a good time. Doug and I, we dominated. And if you use that code DHH Ring, you get one of these free rings with a trophy or a belt. We've got a belt for a league. These trophies upgrade your league. I'm telling you, I absolutely love getting money for fantasy leagues. But if I'm getting a trophy or a belt, that makes it so much better. And honestly, sometimes it's way more important because the power you have, and say you have live drafts or anything, it's so much better. So for me, I absolutely, oh my God, like we have a belt in the comic book league. James, you just joined this season, but the belt is everything. It holds the power. And right now I've got a chance to come away with it.
Yeah.
I hope I do. And
it wasn't my year, but I get a year off for fostering fees.
That's true. But yeah, honestly, guys, I can't say it enough. It changes your league, and if you don't know, go try it out. And they're not that expensive. Just have the league mates pay $10 each. Boom, you get a really nice trophy or belt, and then you get one of these free rings you can give to the title holder each and every single year. Hold it for yourself, yeah. If you're a commissioner, slap the commissioner tag on it, and
they're customizable too.
Yeah. But yeah, TrophySmack.com, DHH ring, you get a free championship ring. All right, let's get right into these games. And first of all, we're going to go into Thursday, which was a fun game to watch if you weren't a Seattle Seahawks fan. Now, we'll go over to the 49ers side. Brock Purdy. Is he real?
Purdy.
Is he real? I don't know. I'm a Trey Lance believer still, but
I mean, he looked pretty bad.
To
be honest.
So he can construct an offense. He is a good conductor of the Kyle Shanahan offense. Now, can he make those special plays? No. He doesn't have the arm strength. He has accuracy, but if you want him to throw it 40 yards down the field, he's not the guy. It's kind of like a Mac Jones. Now, Kyle Shanahan loves Mac Jones and that style of quarterback, so who knows? But he didn't look too bad. I started him in a championship run, and he could help me win. Not sure yet, but going to the running backs, Christian McCaffrey, 26 for 108 and a touchdown.
He's just incredible. This is the highest point of the season for him, the highest carry amount with 26 carries.
6 catches, 30 yards.
Oh, man, he just...
Yep, and Jordan Mason, the backup running back, he had a massive run, 4 for 64. And then you got George Kittle with a huge game, 4 for 93 and 2 touchdowns. Juwan Jennings, 3 for 31. And Brandon Ayuk did nothing, 2 for 19. So if you started him, I'm sorry.
Are you worried about Brandon Ayuk?
No. It's just, I don't think Purdy's the starter, so I'm pretty confident in Brandon Ayuk for the future. But going over to the Seattle side, and then, Chef, I'll let you get into it. Geno Smith, 238 and 1 touchdown. Kenneth Walker, 12 for 47. And then we had Tyler Lockett, 7 for 68, who had a broken finger, and everybody thought he was going to be out for the season. He is only out for 1 game, which is kind of crazy when Russell Wilson was out forever. DK Metcalf, 7 for 55. Noah Fant, 5 for 32 and a touchdown. And Kenneth Walker, 4 for 32. Travis Homer, 4 for 25. And the rest, who cares? What do you have about this game?
San Francisco's really, really good no matter what. It's the system over everything. Purdy is just a pawn, in my opinion, this season.
Yeah.
I don't think it affects Trey Lance at all. I think if anything, it may affect Jimmy Garoppolo on how Purdy can handle the offense moving forward.
100%.
So he may be the odd man out, especially with the injury that he sustained this year. Trey Lance will probably come back faster than him. And if McCaffrey's still on this offense, I think the San Francisco is going to be a hard team to beat now and going forward. I think they're clicking on all cylinders. Even with injured players, they seem to get the job done. On the other side of the football, Geno Smith, we've seen him be so good throughout the season, and now he is floundering. Yes, against a badass defense in San Francisco, but still, he played a little bit more hesitant with his throws. He was having a hard time hitting DK Metcalf. Tyler Lockett played with the broken finger. Good for him. But it looks like if they don't get the ground game going with Walker first and foremost, this offense is struggling down the stretch. So that's something of a concern.
Yeah, and Tyler Lockett has to be one of the most underrated wide receivers in
Every
the
year.
NFL.
Every
single
year.
season. So with Geno, I know if you have him, you were very happy you picked him up.
100%.
Me personally, I think they should use Denver's pick, draft a quarterback, sit him for a year. Geno's the guy, and learn behind Geno. Geno seems like he's just happy to be there. Like he's happy where he's at. And if Geno has to be kind of the teacher, I think that's a perfect person to learn from. He sat behind Eli Manning. He sat behind Russell Wilson. He sat behind some great quarterbacks in the past, and he knows a lot of stuff. And
they have great weapons. I mean, this team
100%.
could actually make a push. I mean, to mention Tyler Lockett, wide receiver 6 on the year in fantasy.
And
so that's insane.
For me, CJ Stroud or Will Levis would be perfect for these guys because Will Levis, he's got the massive arm. He's Josh Allen 2.0, and Josh Allen was very bad his first 2 years. Like he was inaccurate, and that is Will Levis. Now, if he can learn to kind of hone it in a little bit, Will Levis could be great. And CJ Stroud is all based off of within the system. If he can play within the system and has good weapons, CJ Stroud could be great.
So that means you get another year worth of Geno Smith.
Yeah.
So if he flounders out at the end of the playoffs,
you have your future.
Yeah.
It's a perfect scenario because they still have their first round pick as well.
Yep.
So they're not hurting by this trade. All right. Let's get into the next game. And you guys, this game was so much fun, especially being up here in Minnesota. It was nuts. I was just watching the game because, hey, it's Saturday. There's football on. Why not? And I just kept getting that feeling. I'm like, the Colts, like after halftime, the Colts just seemed like they weren't doing anything. They completely took their foot off the gas. They were just kind of playing to run the clock out, but they weren't able to run the clock out because they weren't able to move the ball.
Not at all.
Now, Minnesota up here, there's rumors that Patrick Peterson came into the locker room and gave a crazy halftime speech. Apparently, it was insane. It got the whole team pumped up, and they came out and just destroyed. Vikings won 39-36 in overtime. Whew. Amazing game. One of the games of the year. Matt Ryan, he went 182 yards, 1 touchdown. Zach Moss, 24 for 81 in all Zach Moss fashion. He had some good tough yards, but that is Zach Moss. He's not going to break anything big. It's 5 yards and a cloud of dust. Deion Jackson, though, he has some oomph to him. He 13 for 55, and then Michael Pittman had 2 for 30 on the ground with 10 for 60 through the air, 14 targets. That is always good to see. Jelani Woods, I'm very shocked they don't get him on the field more often.
Yeah,
1 for 36. Kyle Granson, 2 for 34. Aston Doolin, 2 for 25. Jonathan Taylor, who got hurt, as we said. Paris Campbell is a non-factor, and so on and so forth. Alex Pierce.
If you played Chase McLaughlin, you were rewarded.
Yes,
that's pretty
that
much
is true.
What it is. And the Colts defense.
And the Colts passed up on a field goal to go for it, and they did not make it. So it could have been a big difference in this game. Kirk Cousins went for 460. That is right. I went up against Kirk Cousins.
Record-breaking game for him and the Minnesota Vikings.
In this league where I lost, I went up against Kirk Cousins, who after the first half, I looked like I was smashing this game. And I also had Trevor Lawrence, who first half was not great. So I had my hopes up for both these guys. But Kirk Cousins, 4 touchdowns, two interceptions.
I had Kirk in 3 leagues.
And then Dalvin Cook, 17 for 95. He had a massive run, and he also had 4 for 95. That screen pass was insane. He looks spry, and I love the fact that they're giving Madison some touches. Cook, he may have lost.
You mean the 2 touches that he got?
Now, but I mean, it's still giving Cook a little breathing. Don't forget CJ Ham.
Yeah. Ham had more touches than Madison.
So Dalvin Cook, to me, I get he's 27. I think he's got 2 years left. It just, to me, it seems like he's still got juice. He's somebody who doesn't take massive hits just due to his really good vision and the way he can cut within the hole. God,
I think he's already established his injury history. Like, if anything, it's going to be the collarbone where they pop it back into place,
Yeah, and
or
he
a
wears the
like,
brace.
yeah, or I think he has a quad thing once in a while it pops up. But yeah, I hope you're right, Dr. Tyler,
I
because
I
I love some Dalvin Cook, and he does, I think, have the build and the size and the physique and the what do I want to say, the discipline
yeah.
to keep himself on the field for at least another 2 years, similar to like a Derrick Henry, yet he
Yep.
can be that pass catcher like we saw today, or yesterday rather, on Saturday. And this offense is cooking. This offense is going
Yeah,
huge.
Justin Jefferson, he went 12 for 123.
Whew.
He's so good. And a touchdown. KJ Osborne had a big game, 10 for 157 and a touchdown. And then Dalvin Cook, like I said, he had that touchdown on the screen pass. Adam Thielen had a touchdown himself. TJ Hawkinson, 3 for 33. But when Dalvin Cook is getting those short touches, that is where Hawkinson could definitely hurt, especially when KJ Osborne in the slot is getting some play. So this game, what do you got from it? It was awesome up here.
I mean, every single receiver besides Naylor and our friend Jalen Rager actually had a good day. Kirk Cousins spread the ball around great. He looked like a real quarterback, man. Like he was on the plane shirtless once again, just doing pumps of fists of pumps, back and forth traveling. But no, they were home this time, and he really showed up in a big way for the Minnesota Vikings and your fantasy teams. I don't hear anybody crying about the score that he put up. Never seen a bigger game out of Kirk Cousins in my lifetime, I don't think. Anyway, with 460 yards, I think this one's for the record book. Moving forward, I think you can trust them. I think they're pretty much good to go, man. These are your guys. Like, if you have Kirk Cousins, you picked him up on the cheap. You really didn't go out and buy Kirk Cousins. Is this a sell point for Kirk Cousins coming out of this season? Perhaps. We don't know where that contract's going to go.
He's got one more year left, and for me, it seems like he is the team. Like they thought they were going to be in a rebuild with O'Connell, and it doesn't seem like they are now. This team is solidified. The offensive line looks good. They didn't have Bradbury this game, but it looked like it didn't matter. Darrisaw was back. He was off the field a little bit here and there, but the team looks like they're competitive. They won the NFC North, and it looks like they will be competitive.
So they may be
going.
looking at more offensive line and defensive pickups in the offseason, which could secure Kirk Cousins even more. So I like that.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next game. It is the Ravens versus the Browns. And the Ravens, woof, 3-13. Tyler Huntley. Here, do you want to take over? Sorry. I'll pause it.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Tyler
Huntley.
My son is awake, so.
Yeah, so let's talk about Tyler Huntley. Tyler Huntley, the running quarterback that was supposed to be Lamar Jackson's decoy. It just didn't pan out against the Cleveland defense. 17 for 30 on 138 yards, 1 interception, 1 fumble. Did not look good. Bright spot on the offense for the day was J.K. Dobbins, 13 carries, 125 yards. Also caught 1 catch. He finished with 13 fantasy points for PPR leagues out there, which is great. Gus Edwards, quiet, 7 carries, 55 yards. Not what you're looking for out of them. No one to report on the wide receiver side of things. No one got more than 5 points. You should not be playing these guys. Mark Andrews, very, very questionable the last couple weeks. Only had 6 fantasy points in this one. Was targeted 7 times, only caught 3 for 31. That is a bad sign. Should bounce back against Atlanta and Pittsburgh in the next 2. On the other side of the ball, man, I mean, it wasn't much better. Nick Chubb, quiet day, had 21 carries, almost 100 yards, finished with 99 on the ground, but did not break 100, did not have a reception on 2 targets. Deshaun Watson, where are you? People have waited for you the whole season. This is game 2 against a poor defense in Baltimore. Yeah, not great. Not great. It just serves the Cleveland Browns right for spending all that money up front. Even Kareem Hunt, bad, very bad. One bright spot on this side of the ball was Donovan Peoples-Jones, my man from Michigan. 4 receptions on 4 targets, 31 yards. He did end the day in a touchdown. Pretty much saved his day. And that is about it for this one. What a bad matchup. Shout out to the Cleveland Browns defense. Interception, a fumble recovery. That's how things go in Ohio. All right, let's move on to the next one, which was my favorite game of the week. Was the snow globe game, where everybody showed up and said, "Oh yeah, it's going to be so much snow in Orchard Park." And I'm looking and I'm like, "Man, where's the snow?" That was the question of the night. Where was the snow in this matchup? And we waited all the way until the fourth quarter of the Buffalo matchup to see flakes start swirling around Orchard Park, and the damage was already done at that point. This game was back and forth throughout the night. What a great game. 32-29, Buffalo wins it in a swirling blizzard type setting. It's very festive.
Yeah,
Tyler.
it was so much fun to watch. This, like you said in one of the chats, it was a snow globe, which was always fun. Those games are so fun because the players actually like to play in that. Now Waddle went off after his big touchdown, and
he came right back on though.
Yep, I did not start Waddle just due to weather and matchup. I didn't think it'd be huge, but there was always that chance where he's going to break a massive play. Tyreek Hill, volume. Raheem Mostert, he broke off a massive run. Selvin Ahmed, like, hey, we haven't mentioned him in feels like a whole season.
Wilson was out in this one before the game. They announced him out, and no one's really talking about Ahmed really too much. So interesting.
And then you had James Cook, 5 for 34, caught that touchdown in the back of the end zone. It's always good to see. It's always good to see him do well because I personally think he is the best running back for this system. And next year he could be a more explosive play, kind of like what we see DeAndre Swift in Detroit. I really like it. So Dawson Knox, just two straight games, 6 for 98 and a touchdown. That's good to see. Stephon Diggs had a bit of an off game for him, 5 for 60. Gabe Davis, he's kind of on a massive slump. So for me, Gabe Davis, I had a trade this past, I think it was Thursday before the Thursday game.
Yes.
I had a trade. I traded for Isaiah Pacheco and Rashad Bateman. I had a chance to get Gabe Davis over Bateman, but I wanted Bateman, and I gave up Greg Dulcich and Wan'Dale Robinson. And it is tight end premium, and I like Dulcich, so that was tough to do, but I was kind of shocked that I decided to go for Bateman because I like Gabe Davis, but just his
touchdowns are not consistent.
The consistency there it is, yeah.
Like if it's a boom or bust scenario, which it always is for Gabe Davis, I mean, it all depends. It's all matchup dependent. I mean, he should bounce back against Chicago. We saw them get torched today through the air. Not so much with Cincinnati and New England to end the season. So yeah, Gabe Davis ending on a slump here.
That 4 touchdown game's coming, so we'll all come back to it, right?
Yeah, in the playoffs. I mean, it'll happen. It'll be like the AFC Conference Championship, and Gabe Davis will have 4 touchdowns against the Kansas City Chiefs, and people's jaws will drop, and his fantasy value will break through yet another ceiling, which is just. It's like an imaginary ceiling with Gabe Davis because we haven't seen a 4 touchdown game in the regular season. We've seen 2 touchdown games, which are great, but they're few and far between. And then other than that, like his lows are really serious lows, only 5 points per game. So that the boom is not outweighing the bust anymore, and it's getting a little scary for Gabe Davis.
All right. Speaking of massive games, I want to talk about the Eagles versus the Bears. 25-20, the Eagles win. Jalen Hurts, he went 315 yards, 2 interceptions. Oh my God, how terrible is that? That guy is terrible, right?
Yeah, right. Didn't even score a touchdown through the air.
I know. Oh wait, 17 for 61 on the ground and 3 touchdowns. I think he has 13 rushing touchdowns.
He leads the league. Yes.
Insane, and it's unstoppable. There was a play that was drawn up. It was not Jalen Hurts. It was actually drawn up because they saw the safeties come up, and they're like, okay, Jalen, just go right down the middle. 22 yards, touchdown. Yep. And it was just like in a split second. in closing your eyes and then opening them, he's in. Like, he's so quick at these and so good. Jalen Hurts,
he gets off the line so fast.
He's
His
the real
burst
deal.
is amazing.
And
you got him in the second round.
And AJ Brown is also the real deal. 9 for 181. Guy is just unreal. Missed a touchdown. I think he missed 2 touchdowns today.
Yes.
Just barely.
One was called back, I believe.
Devonta Smith also missed a touchdown as well. 5 for 126. I love this duo of wide receivers. It's so fun. Devonta Smith.
It seems like it's the going thing now in the league, and I'm glad you brought it up because I wanted to touch on it a little bit. AJ Brown, Devonta Smith matched up with Jalen Hurts. Like, that's what we're looking for. Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs up against with Josh Allen. It seems like it's like the same matchup.
Yeah. And
like, if these two teams meet in the Super Bowl, which a lot of people are predicting right now, it's going to be so great.
And then you got, Cincinnati with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Like, you need 2 alpha receivers, and I hope to God they can pay both alpha receivers.
Atlanta with the Eiffel Tower and Kyle Pitts,
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see. My hopes aren't that great, but hey, they got an earlier pick after today's game. And Miles Sanders went 11 for 42. Kenneth Gainwell, it seems like every time we touch the ball, something is not good. Like, he's a fine piece, but man, I really like Gainwell, and I wish he would have panned out a little more. Going over to Chicago side, Justin Fields, 152 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also 15 for 95. He went over 1,000 yards this season. And yes, that we're talking Justin Fields, who started off terribly, and now he's over 1,000 yards rushing. And also, he has a chance to break Lamar Jackson's single-season rushing record for the quarterback. David Montgomery, 12 for 53 and a touchdown. Brian Pringle got a touchdown.
2 touchdowns. Also caught one, David Montgomery.
Yep,
he did.
David Montgomery caught a touchdown. And Cole Kmet, he missed a couple big plays. He went 4 for 25. And then everybody else on here, who cares? Because they're probably not on your dynasty roster. Velus Jones is now 136 years old. And that's new news. But what do you want to talk about with these two teams?
I mean, is there much else to talk about besides the wide receiver duo of AJ Brown and Devonta Smith? I mean, Miles Sanders this was a little odd. Like, looking at the scoreboard, 11 carries for 42 yards, and he caught a pass for negative 13 yards, had a fumble and a lost fumble, and ended the day with 0.90 fantasy points. I mean, if you're a Miles Sanders owner and you're in the playoffs today, you might have lost because of that. And
the guy I was facing had him, and I lost. So it's not a great feeling on the other side, but
yeah. But David Montgomery, I mean, he looks like he's still in the driver's seat in Chicago, no matter what. I think they're going to keep him around.
I doubt it. They would love to throw their money elsewhere, but they do have a lot of it, so you never know. All right, we're going over to the Falcons versus Saints, 18-21. The Falcons always seem to come back and just sneak up behind you and maybe have a chance. And it doesn't help that your quarterback goes for 13 for 26, 97 yards, a QBR of 31.9, which is ungood. He was holding the ball too long. Desmond Ridder was.
Yes.
It's his first game. It's against the Saints, division rivals. I'm not going to put the full blame on him. I think I need to see a little more. But it's not a great start. And Desmond Ridder, like I said, he just needed to get the ball out quicker. But you know what? There's another rookie that went off. Tyler Algier, 17 for 139 and a touchdown. He was running hard. And I was trying to figure out who he reminded me of stylistic-wise, and I couldn't put my finger on it. Like, he's not super crazy fancy. He gets 5 yards or more. He's busting off 5, 10, 15-yard runs. Nothing crazy massive.
Did have a big run today. Did have a big 40-plus yard run.
Well, he seems every week he always seems to either have a big catch or a big run. And if you got him late in the rookie drafts, which you probably did, I'm not sure what they're going to do. I do think that they could go Patterson and Algier again, the duo running back, and then hopefully
I think it's likely.
And put their money, their early draft pick in a quarterback, if it's not Ridder, if he does not do well the rest of the season, or defense, because this defense is a sieve.
It's getting old. Older pieces on defense need
Yes,
to be
Drake
updated.
London did get 11 targets, 7 for 70. Now Ritter and London will have a connection, and you will
Yes.
see that for the rest of the year. London will get his targets, but other than that, nothing much on the other side. Cordell Patterson did get a late touchdown. On the Saints side, Andy Dalton 11 for 17, 151 and 2, and Taysom Hill, the thorn in the side.
To Rashid Shaheed, my spray tan player from the first time I did it. Rashid Shaheed. Oh my gosh, you've blossomed in front of my eyes. You are no longer a spray tan player
He's on my
ever
taxi
and
squad in a
more.
lot of leagues.
I went out and got Rashid Shaheed everywhere that I could after that episode where I put him on the spray tan. Because the week after he scored a touchdown, and this time he has another touchdown, 95 yards, 4 targets, 3 receptions. I mean, he must be the truth. His speed is so real.
Yeah, it's all about the speed, and for me, if Chris Olave does not have Jameis Winston, I mean, his rookie season suffered due to no Jameis. If he had Jameis the whole year, we could be talking about Chris Olave's rookie season as a massive, massive win. Like, he could have an amazing rookie season. It's just Andy Dalton doesn't throw deep that much, and they don't throw as much. Alvin Kamara went 21 for 91. It was good to see him get some play. And David Johnson was back, but he fumbled the ball, and he
Oh my
disappeared.
god!
It was milk carton for him.
4 carries, 12 yards, and a fumble.
Juwan Johnson 4 for 67. Hey, you know what? If it's not going to be Taysom Hill, Juwan Johnson will catch the touchdowns at tight end. I hate the Saints. It's also because I'm a Falcons fan, but it's something about this team and this offense that just sucks for fantasy. I don't know what it is. I don't want you to talk about any of these teams because it was a gross game to watch as a fan of Atlanta and not a fan of the Saints. We will move on to a much funner game.
Yes. More fun game.
More
like the
fun.
touchdown that Saquon Barkley just scored, baby. Let's go.
Nice. All right, we're going to go to Detroit versus the New York Jets. Detroit wins 20-17. I love when Detroit wins. It is a much better day and a much better NFL when Detroit wins. Jared Goff, 23 for 38, 252 and a touchdown. Just efficient. Goff runs this offense very well. DeAndre Swift, 8 for 52. And also Jamal Williams, 13 for 33. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 7 for 76. He's the real deal. He's a top 12 dynasty receiver. I won't put him top 4 like he was early on, but he is a top 12. And Khalif Raymond, he had a big kickoff return or punt return, and he went 5 for 53. Brock Wright, big 1 for 151 and touchdown, big play at the end of the game to win it. 5 for 23 also for Swift on the receiving end. I know Jameson Williams had a almost touchdown. Goff did not throw the ball far enough, but man, that dude is going to make some plays because he is fast. He got behind 2 very good secondary pieces of the Jets, and it was with ease. He has easy speed, and it's going to be fun to watch. Going over to the Jets side, Zach Wilson, yuck. He made some plays, but he was trying he was trying to give Detroit the win, and he did. He made a terrible throw for an interception. Zach Wilson, 18 for 35, 317, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Yeah, his QBR is 37, and that is where the proof is because he did not play well. Zonovan Knight, 13 for 23, yuck. Michael Carter. This Detroit defense, by the way, against the run, don't play him because they have changed completely. They are so good against the run. Michael Carter, 4 for 15. Garrett Wilson, 4 for 98. He had 2 big plays at the end of the game, which saved his day. Jeff Smith, 4 for 77 because of Denzel Mims was out and Corey Davis. Elijah Moore, they still don't like him.
You would think Elijah Moore would have more fantasy relevance with Mims not in there because that was the reason why. Nope, it's not that. It's not that.
And CJ Uzoma, of course, because Zach Wilson can't throw to anybody but tight ends. 2 for 41 and 2 touchdowns. Chef, what do you got in this game?
This game was amazing for the Detroit fans out there. Not too much on the fantasy side of things outside of the quarterbacks. I mean, even though Zach Wilson had a bad game per se, he still hit over 300 yards. He still had 2 touchdowns, and I believe he had a couple carries on the ground, and one of those touchdowns was a long bomb to Uzama. Still don't want him in fantasy. On the other side of things that I'm looking at is Brock Wright, because the tight end scenario in that offense, what Goff likes is he likes a big tight end that can catch the ball in stride, just like Hawkinson used to do when he was there. Brock Wright, it seems like he is stepping up into those shoes slowly and quietly, week to week. And I think Brock Wright might have a future on this squad here, and you might be able to buy in on him really, really cheap right now.
Here's my call. Michael Mayer of Notre Dame, the best tight end.
Well, I mean, if you're going to call rookies to these guys,
I think Detroit is a slam dunk. They got 2 first-round picks. Their first-round pick's going to be mid to later, and he is a perfect Dan Campbell clone. Like they are huge, huge people that are.
I mean, why would they have 2 Notre Dame tight ends?
Because one is a 5-star recruit that was one of the best to come in, has a body like Gronk, is just so smooth. He would be perfect in this offense, and I love it. I love it because this
Detroit's
offense
closer to winning a playoff game than a lot of us think.
Oh, I hope they make the playoffs because this team is fun to watch, and everybody who's talking about Dan Campbell getting fired, I'm so happy that things are panning out because he trusts in what he was doing, and it's working. Like, what he planned is working. And also, I think his name's Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator, Brian Johnson or Ben Johnson, one of the two. He is doing a fantastic job, and he could actually be out the door as a head coach. So we will have to see, and that could change the way the offense rolls, and hopefully they have somebody in-house. Mark Brunell, hey, step up and be the OC. Let's go to the next game. Pittsburgh versus Carolina, 24-16. Pittsburgh wins. Pittsburgh, Mitch Trubisky, 17 for 22, 179. Just a game manager. That's all he did today. And Najee Harris, 24 for 86. Some tough yards. He looked like he tried to punch one of the Carolina Panthers when he rolled in for his touchdown. Like, he swung. I swear he did. Jalen Warren also 11 for 38 and a touchdown. Deontay Johnson, 10 targets, caught all 10 for 98. Massive PPR.
Could not get into the end zone.
No. Also made some stupid boneheaded penalties that did not help the Steelers. George Pickens, 2 for 53, had a massive catch and just a stud when the ball's up in the air. You cannot beat him. 5 targets. And everybody else was kind of out. Pat Freiermuth did not play, correct?
No, he played.
That was the joke.
He played, and he got
no target.
He went to the coffee shop, grabbed some donuts, I think.
And going over to the other side, Sam Darnold, 14 for 23, 225. I think he is a competent quarterback. He will stay in the league for a long time because he's still only 17 years old. It's Sam Darnold, that is. He's still very young.
Isn't he like 16 still?
He looks like it, but he's actually like 23, which is still insane. 23, 24. So Chuba Hubbard, 4 for 10. The running game was not working. DJ Moore, though, 5 for 73 and a touchdown. That's 5 touchdowns, you guys. DJ Moore has eclipsed.
That touchdown was just crazy.
DJ Moore has eclipsed past 4 touchdowns, the most in his career. He usually only catches 4 touchdowns. What is going on? Terrace Marshall, showing signs of life, had a very nice deep ball catch. Chuba Hubbard had a very long catch as well, 3 for 57, and nothing else matters on this team. So talk to me about this game.
I mean, there's not much to talk about. It was really, yeah. I mean, Jalen Warren was someone that came to light a little bit, had some work on the ground, 11 carries, 38 yards, got into the end zone, caught 1 ball. I like that going forward because Najee Harris is like 35 already, right? So Jalen Warren is someone that's going to be on my target as soon as the trade season really opens up again.
This
other
team,
than that, man, I am out.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know I love George Pickens. I've never been a real Deontay Johnson fan, so yeah, moving on. So
this team, for all the people that say Kenny Pickett's not good, this team is better with Kenny Pickett, and it 100%. Shows every single week. All right, going to the next game, Cowboys versus Jacksonville. Another great game, 34-40. Jacksonville Jaguars win. It was a fun game to watch at the end.
Yes,
Trevor Lawrence is that guy, and I'm going to start with him. 27 for 42, 318 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. He has risen. He is here. Trevor Lawrence is a top 6 quarterback for me.
Are we calling him the Messiah? Is that like his nickname?
He looks like it. But Travis Etienne, 19 for 103. He had a quiet, good game. That's what I would say. Etienne, he's chugging along, just having some decent games. 2 for 24 in the passing game. Where it was is Zay Jones, 6 for 109 and 3 touchdowns. Zay Jones is fun.
Zay Jones is the number one wide receiver on this team.
But the number one, technically, Christian Kirk,
Nope.
6 for 92. But the number one is suspended in
Ridley. Coming back, and
Calvin Ridley. This team is going to be fun.
It's going to be fun next year. Marvin Jones may actually hang up his cleats. And
Evan Ingram, 8 for 62.
Oh, top 5 tight end, Evan Ingram?
He is a top 5 tight end.
What a hot take if someone said that in the beginning of the season.
Oh, man. All right, going to Dallas side, and then I'll let you take over and gloat. 23 for 30, 256, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, 1 game-wrecking pick by a defensive player that had a game of his life. 19 for 75 for Tony Pollard and 16 for 58 for Zeke and a touchdown. CeeDee Lamb 7 for 126, Noah Brown 6 for 49 and 2. Tony Pollard on the receiving end 4 for 31, and Peyton Hendershot, who I think is a good dynasty stash, 1 for 20 and a touchdown. Dalton Schultz 2 for 15 did not help you. But what do you got with this game?
If you had Dalton Schultz and you were playing him in the playoffs and we're going to rely on him, Hendershot came in and Hender sniped you out of the touchdown that ruined your tight end premium game. I know it was a bad shot, huh? Bad Hendershot.
I mean, you like Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah, those Hendershots. Noah Brown, once again, I've been tooting Noah Brown's horn a little bit here or there on the show, and once again, he shows up 9 targets, 49 yards, 2 touchdowns, 6 catches. Like, Noah Brown is probably the real deal. Probably one of the reasons why they didn't want to spend the money on Brandon Cooks, because they saw something in Noah Brown compared to Michael Gallup, who seems to be going backwards in his career. Which for the first time, I'm going to say it out loud. I think I'm off of Michael Gallup for forever now until he shows me something different.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb's going to do CeeDee Lamb things. I don't think we see a problem, but I just don't think he ever hits that number one wide receiver pinnacle in Dynasty like he was when he first came into the league. I think we all jumped on it looking at what he did in college and said, wow, this is his file. This is what he's going to be able to do compared to Jerry Rice. And it's not going to come to fruition. I'm sorry. The offense isn't like that. Not when you have 2 capable running backs of pushing the ball down the field, especially in between the 20s. You don't have to throw the ball all the time, and that's not how this offense is built. On the other side of the ball, Zay Jones, let's get back to it. He is the number one on this offense. Like, I like Zay Jones. I liked him when he was in Vegas. I said it last week with Doug on the pod. 8 for 77 last week with a touchdown. 6 for 109 this week. He gets the Jets next week, which stinks. But Houston...
Does it, though? He might not have sauce on him.
I think he will after 2 back-to-back games like he did.
The thing with this offense, though, is him and Kirk are kind of the same. So maybe Sauce stays on one side, and they just move these receivers around. Like, when Calvin Ridley comes back, he's kind of like Christian Kirk. He's kind of like Zay Jones. He's more advanced version of him if he still plays like he did before. But they're all very similar type receivers. They're quick. They get open fast. And this offense could be onto something. Like, you don't need a big, tall guy. You could just have all these tiny, quick, fast guys that get open quick, and Trevor Lawrence can have his choice of whichever target he wants to go to.
Yeah, I think we're seeing the blossom of Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, yeah.
And his fantasy career. It is here. If you want to nickname him the Messiah, I have no problem with that. You just had to wait for him to come. And it's Christmas time. Merry Christmas. You have yourself Trevor Lawrence for a long, long time with Doug Peterson as the coach.
All right, we're going to move on to the next game, Kansas City versus Houston. But first, James, you want to tell the people about Underdog?
Underdog, yeah. Is your fantasy season over? Well, that stinks. Mine is never over because I choose Underdog and go out there and play some DFS with the friends, always drafting, best ball style. It's the way to go. Never let your underdog eat your homework. Is that it? Is that a thing?
It was close.
No, seriously, go
I'm
to
just trying
Underdog.
to keep your spirits high with these jokes. So good job.
Yeah, terrible. It was terrible.
So
But
you could go around the routes like Houston. Houston's trying to play spoiler and is an underdog. And hey, they are accumulating points. And if you want to stick one of those Houston Texans players like Davis Mills, who went 12 for 24 and 2 touchdowns in your underdog lineup as a tournament play, that could be a good option.
Or like Marlon Mack, back-to-back touchdowns week to week. I mean, he's starting to come alive.
Return of the Mac.
Return of the Mac. Definitely an underdog story. And keep your fantasy season going with Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code DHH, and they will match up to $100 right away. Go out there, get Underdog, and keep your fantasy season alive.
All right, we'll get right into this matchup. 30-24, the Chiefs won in overtime. Now, Houston actually had the lead a lot in this game, but Pat Mahomes went 36 for 41, 336 yards and 2 touchdowns. Pat Mahomes is awesome.
Pat Mahomes. He's Pat Mahomes.
Isaiah Pacheco was running super hard and then fumbled. It was the weirdest fumble. He got stood up, and the ball just slipped right out. He had both hands over the ball, looked like he was protecting it, and just like it had
forgot to hold the bottom of the ball.
He forgot to cup the ball. So that is a problem. Jarek McKinnon came
Dr.
in 10 for 52 and a touchdown. Pat Mahomes also had one on the ground. Jarek McKinnon also on the ground, 8 for 70 and a touchdown. Guess who sat Jarek McKinnon like an idiot? That would be me. I did because I thought Isaiah Pacheco was going to get fed the whole day. Nope, I was not thinking straight, thinking, hey, this Houston team against the run is so bad. Both of these running backs can eat, and they did. Travis Kelce, 10 for 105. He had a bad after the play, but you know what? I don't blame him. I'm excited to listen to him and his brother's podcast this week to hear about it, because you guys, if you love our podcast, you would love their podcast too. It is one of my favorite new podcasts. Is what is it called? Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce's podcast, New Heights podcast, I think. So it's a good listen. Go listen to it. 10 for 88 for Juju Smith-Schuster. I would not be shocked if he resigns for a $10 million a year deal again with the Chiefs.
It did have a fumble in this game.
Yes, he did. And he gets beat up every game. It seems like every team is gunning for him and hoping they get on his TikTok. That is my guess. And Noah Gray, one of my favorite dynasty stash, went 3 for 31. Going to the Texan side, Davis Mills, I already mentioned him. Jeff Driscoll only attempted 4 passes and completed 2 of them for 8 yards, so who cares? Royce Freeman, don't care about these running backs, so we'll skip them. Chris Moore, 4 for 42. And Amari Rodgers, who I do like as a stash, 2 for 26. Other than that, who cares about this passing game, because it was ungood. Chef, what do you got? Well, it's pretty much the Chiefs. That's all you got to talk about, because Houston's going to be a completely different team next year.
MVS getting a touchdown in this one. But the real story, like you said, was Jarek McKinnon. Like, this is the same thing we saw the Chiefs do in past seasons, where they're bringing in veterans. Like Damian Williams came in over from Miami that year. What else? They signed LaShawn McCoy. They signed Le'Veon Bell. They have Jarek McKinnon on their squad, and it seems like later in the year, here he comes with the experience, helping Isaiah Pacheco develop a little bit more in his pass protection and opening up things. CEH, afterthought, I think, on this roster. I think it's Pacheco moving forward, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go ahead and give McKinnon another 1-year deal. Yeah. I mean, he's 30 years old. He's not going to get a contract from anybody else. So I think... Yeah, it's the Chiefs, man. Move on.
Yep. Yeah. If you have an opportunity to get any of these Chiefs, go for it. Going to the next matchup.
Ronald Jones.
Yeah, Ronald Jones, no. Going to the next matchup, the Cardinals lose to the Broncos 15-24. Arizona Cardinals, their season is fire. Like, just everything about that team is a dumpster fire. Trace McSorley came in after Colt McCoy went out with a concussion. He went 7 for 15 and 95 yards, 2 interceptions. But you know what? Colt McCoy's like, hey, don't forget about my interception, because he had one as well. James Conner went 16 for 63 and a touchdown. And going over to the receiving end, DeAndre Hopkins had 7 for 60, 11 targets. Trey McBride, 4 for 55, finally getting some targets. And other than that, Marquise Hollywood Brown went 4 for 19. He was invisible pretty much.
Marquise Hoboken Brown, baby.
Yeah, pretty much. Brett Rippon The ripping and the tearing, 21 for 26. He had a touchdown and an interception with 197 yards. Latavius Murray's where it was at, 24 for 130 and a touchdown. And you know what? This was a smash play for Greg Dulcich, and he only had 2 targets for one catch and 11 yards. Other than that, Jerry Jeudy, 7 for 76. Him as, like I said, him as the main target, that's where you want him. Because if he's not, he's lazy and he doesn't care. Like, that's his attitude. That is what I hear from Cecil Lammey and people around Denver Broncos, is if he's not the main player, he's going to kind of pout about it and not give his full effort. So here he is as the main dude, 7 for 76. He's a PPR machine right now. And maybe he'll grow up. And if they do get another receiver, maybe he'll learn to play with them and not against them. But what do you got with this game? There's probably not too much.
Just after a little bit of digging, don't get your hopes put in the gutter with Dulcich just yet. Veteran Eric Tomlinson, 8-year vet, came in, stole the touchdown. Also had 3 receptions for 28 yards, but that's neither here nor there. We knew Latavius Murray was going to have a good game. I called this Latavius Murray as a very cheap flex play option today. You wanted to have him in your lineups. I played him personally in a lineup, and everybody was like looking at me like I had 4 heads, and I'm laughing all the way to the next round of my playoffs because of it. It's just the running backs in this one, man. Like I said, I'm off of everybody Arizona. If I have them, I'm getting rid of them. I don't want to sit around and wait on a franchise to rebuild, or that's in question of rebuilding. I don't want any of that, any part of that. Denver on the other side, you can get things for inexpensive right now. Dulcich, okay, he had a bad game. Maybe he has a bad rest of the season, and some people start to forget about him a little bit. You can get him in as a throw-in. Like, those are the things. Like Jeudy, my love for Jeudy. I'm waiting for Tim Patrick to come back. That's how I feel about Jerry Jeudy.
There's a buy right there. And Russell Wilson's going to love Tim Patrick.
And I just like to reiterate the fact that it's Marlon Mack, baby. Mack is back.
It's Javonte. If you can go,
it's definitely Javonte.
Go get Javonte.
Get Javonte, yeah.
Because you know what? J.K. Dobbins looks very good himself. So if J.K. Dobbins, he took a little bit to get back, and he says he's not 100% yet, but yet he went off this week.
He still has the burst.
Yes. And Javonte, short area quickness is what he was known for. So, hey, if he's not going to hit those long touchdown runs, as long as he can get through the hole and get you 20 yards or a 30, 40-yard run and maybe not score on that big play, who cares? You know what? Kareem Hunt lived off of the 20, 30, 40-yard runs and smashed his first year before he had his incident. But, hey, for me, Javonte is a great go out and get. All right, let's move on to 2 teams with very good running backs and one with a skeptical quarterback now. And Mac Jones, 13. Well, the Patriots versus the Raiders, 24-30. Las Vegas wins in very funny fashion.
You idiot.
Mac Jones, 13 for 31, 112 yards. He had a QBR of 12.2.
Ouch.
Terrible. And this defense is not great, guys. This defense is a sieve to offenses. And you know what? Ramondre showed that. 19 for 172 and 1 touchdown. Ramondre, I love watching him play. I don't know how. He's a running back. So if I can get the world for Ramondre right now, I'm leaving. But, man, he is a fun player to watch. He also had 2 for -4. Pierre Strong had 4 for 25 on the ground. Kevin Harris, 5 for 19. But
Pierre Strong.
Jacoby Myers, 2 for 47 and a stupid pitch back that he thought was the right play. Jonnu Smith went 2 for 24. He's showing some life. Tyquan Thornton had a big play, 4 targets. Like, Mac Jones was inaccurate. Mac Jones was not good at all. Like, he showed that, hey, this team might need to be looking for a quarterback. And rumors of Tom Brady possibly going back to the Patriots, which I highly doubt that happens. But, I mean, they might be looking. And, maybe if the 49ers are like, hey, Jimmy, we're not going to sign you. Maybe he goes back to New England. What if the 49ers keep Jimmy and Purdy and they're like, sorry, Trey, we're going to trade, like they could trade Trey Lance, which I doubt because they traded the world for him in the first place. But this team is begging for something. Derek Carr, 20 for 38 on the other side, 231, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Josh Jacobs, 22 for 93. Just a fun player to watch. Always runs hard. Keelan Cole, 2 for 50 and a touch. Darren Waller in his first game back, 3 for 48 and a touchdown. Matt Collins, 4 for 40 and a touchdown. Devontae Adams off 9 targets, 4 for 28. It was a bad game by him. Very shocked by that. But
not really.
Hunter Renfrow, first game back, 1 for 14 as well. And the Raiders win after Chandler Jones buried Mac Jones with the stiff arm.
Yeah.
Mac Jones is still in the turf.
Slamming fashion. He's probably still in there crying.
Yeah, and anything on this game or...
Yeah, welcome back, Darren Waller. That was nice to see, even with Devontae Adams in the offense. And Devontae Adams, don't lose hope. The Patriots always try to take away your best thing, and they couldn't take away Josh Jacobs, so they focused in on Devontae Adams. Defensive backs for New England did a good job containing him, and everybody else ate because of it. So...
Ramondre, where do you got him in Dynasty rankings? Are you going to put him in a top 12? This is a very good rookie running back class, despite kind of the class looking a little shaky now.
To be honest, if we've learned anything from the New England offense and how they operate inside their franchise, is I'm selling Stevenson. Yeah. We've seen over a year now of great production. How long does it last? I don't know. We know that they love him in New England, but they also have drafted a clone of not a clone of him, but someone that can be as pass catch able as he is, with Pierre Strong, 3 receptions. We know Damian Harris. I think Damian Harris is gone this
they're
next
gonna
year.
They're going to draft a 3rd or 4th round running back again.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be the same thing. Ramondre is going to be the guy, and then we're going to sit here and say, hey, Ramondre's got 1 more year left, then this guy's going to come up. And Ramondre is he's 25 next year. Is his future...
If you can get a mid-first for Ramondre, are you selling?
I gave up Ramondre before he started smashing, but I gave up Damian Harris, and Ramondre for a 1st-round pick, which then looked like a mid, but now he's riding Ramondre in the playoffs. So it could be a little more 109, 110. Maybe
but standalone by himself, I mean, to command that kind of trade value
in a super flex tight end premium, especially there's probably like 2 or 3 tight ends that could maybe creep into that early 2nd, late 1st round. And there's a lot of good quarterbacks that could get drafted later in the 1st. This draft class is going to be all over the place. It's going to be a little more random than we thought it was going to be at first, but there's a lot of talent. So if you can
always talent.
Yeah, if you can,
where they land.
Especially this running back class. This running back has a lot of good young running backs, like 21-year-olds running backs, where the shelf life will be a little longer. So I do like that play. Going to the next game, Tennessee at the Los Angeles Chargers, 14-17. Man, the Chargers just escaped this, and Tennessee has just fallen. They start off super, they didn't look great early. Then they got hot. Now they're just ice cold. Ryan Tannehill got hurt early on with an ankle. Came back. Malik Willis went 3 for 4 in his stead for 20 yards. Tannehill threw a pick. Derrick Henry 21 for 104 and a touchdown. And then he also had 4 for 59 through the air. Chig 4 for 54 looks to be a bigger part of this offense with Traylon Burks out.
Yeah, buddy.
And when Burks is out, I think Chig is going to be a focal point next year. I don't know who's going to be at quarterback, but Chig and Traylon Burks are massive buys to me. If you can go out and try to buy them, Chig especially, I think is going to be very affordable. In tight end premium, if I can give a late second for Chig, I'm doing that all day. Because I mean, a late second, what is that? Chig could be a massive play in tight end premium. Like tight end premium got over 10 points in a tight end wasteland. That's awesome. And going to the Chargers side, Justin Herbert went 28 for 42, 313 yards. 2 picks, didn't throw any touchdowns, but he did have some big plays. Austin Eckler came out for a while, 12 for 58 and a touchdown on the ground. Josh Kelly, 10 for 24 and a touchdown.
Wow, Josh Kelly.
Yeah, it's not Isaiah Spiller, which is odd to me. You'd think they would want to see what they got. Keenan Allen, 8 for 86 on 9 targets. Mike Williams, 4 for 67 on 8. I'm shocked he didn't get hurt on a lot of these plays because, man, every time Mike Williams is in the air, it feels like he's going to crash and burn. But Josh Palmer, 5 for 49 on 5 targets. Gerald Everett, 4 for 42 on 6 targets. Donald Parham, he showed signs of life, caught all 3 targets for 35 yards. and nothing else really. Eckler didn't do much through the air, 2 for 12. What do you got on this game?
I learned that the kicker's name was Dicker.
Yeah, Dicker the kicker.
Dicker the kicker. That was great. On the other side of things, Mike Williams, my guy, caught the pass that put them in field goal range to end the game. So
Herbert, you mean Herbert put a ball on a string? Like this throw nobody should be able to make. Herbert is a
he's
machine.
So good. He really is so good.
To me, talent-wise, he is top 2, top 3 quarterbacks. It's him, Mahomes. If I'm going talent-wise, like arm talent, it's those two. Josh Allen is right there too, but these two, to me, accuracy and ball placement and arm strength, just insane to me.
Derrick Henry still got it, man.
Yeah.
Still got it.
Next year, we're going to come in and be like, he's almost 30. He's going to fall. Nope. He's going to have another 1,000 yards, 18 touchdowns.
It's going to be him and Dalvin Cook playing until they're in their late 30s.
It's not going to be until they draft another running back and then they start splitting the carries when he's going to start falling apart. If they give him the full workload, he will survive. And that's just the way it is. He falls hard and he just gets up like it's just air hitting him. Like it's insane to me. He's a monster. But I like the Chargers and I like when they win, so I hope they make the playoffs because it'll be fun seeing Herbert in the playoffs. To me, Herbert's not going to evolve into an extremely elite quarterback until he has for me, an elite separator. He's got 2 big receivers. I know Allen's a separator, but he needs that speed separator to me. He needs a big play threat with just pure speed. Jameson Williams would have been a perfect fit for this team. And that, like, if they got a player like that, it would have been insane. They need somebody like that, and I think there's a couple of receivers in this draft class that would fit perfect with this team. So we'll see what they do. If they spend a first-round pick, they spend it on offensive line for the longest time. Maybe they go
You're
offensive
already
weapon.
doing research? Where do you do research on rookies so early?
Dynasty nerds. You get the Dynasty GM tool, which they're gonna have in an app soon, an actual app in the App Store. They're gonna make it. So there's a lot of cool things coming to Dynasty Nerds, and if you use code DHH, you get 15% off a subscription. Also, you get their film room where you can watch tons of film, and that's where James and I watch this film at. There's a ton of players coming out, and you need to watch the film. I know the runner-up for the Heisman, he just declared for the NFL draft. He could be a dark horse for a second round, and he goes to TCU. Andy Dalton went to TCU. They both could be early second-round picks and be successful NFL quarterbacks. And, hey, if you watch the film and you like the film, you could be sneaking up and drafting him in the second round and be like, hey, I got this steal in a Superflex league in the second round. You want to know why? Because you watched film in that film room. So go ahead, use code DHH for 50% off a sub, and go get yours today. Now we're going to move into the last matchup, Cincinnati versus Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's falling apart. Tom Brady is actually falling apart because all he eats is vegetables and no actual protein or meat.
Get that man a steak.
Yes. Cincinnati. You know who eats steak? Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, 30 for 44.
Puts
300
that Skyline chili on it.
312 yard gross. 312 yards. It's just meat sauce.
It's Ohio bolognese.
Pretty much. It's just meat with like greasy meat sauce.
Greasy red sauce and meat.
3 touchdowns, 2 picks. He started off cold and then just like Joe Burrow. Actually, no, wait. That's Tom Brady I'm talking about. What am I talking about? Joe Burrow, 27 for 39, 200 yards, 4 touchdowns and 1 interception. An Aaron Rodgers-like number, like what we used to see from Aaron Rodgers, the 198 yards, but 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So Joe Burrow, like I said, he started off cold and started heating up later on, which is when he needed to. Samaje Perine, 7 for 24. He looked like the more efficient runner, while Joe Mixon was still, I think, knocking the rust off, 11 for 21. And going to the receiving end, 7 for 60 for Jamar Chase and a touchdown. Tyler Boyd, 5 for 35 and a touchdown. Michael Wilcox, who I do think is a sleeper for Dynasty Leagues.
Mitchell Wilcox.
Mitchell Wilcox, 3 for 34 and a touchdown. T. Higgins, 5 for 33 and a touchdown. Joe Mixon, 5 for 33 through the air as well. And then going to the other side, Tom Brady, I mentioned his numbers, 30 for 44, 312 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. I don't think he played as well as the numbers show. The QBR shows that, 39.8 for QBR. Leonard Fournette, I don't think he's good anymore.
No.
He went 10 for 44. Rashad White, 11 for 38. Chris Godwin, 8 for 83 and a touchdown. Good to see him get in the end zone. Mike Evans actually had a good game, 5 for 83. He started off smoking hot, and then they went away from him. He did have 10 targets, though. Russell Gage, 8 for 59, 2 touchdowns. He caught a very lucky touchdown in the end zone, which I thought he fumbled a little bit.
It's the second lucky touchdown of the year.
Yes, he also had another one. Leonard Fournette, 4 for 30 through the air, and Rashad White was kind of invisible. Not sure why, because he is the better runner, but that is.
I think they both took their shot at it. Fournette had a little bit more work in the passing, but they pretty much split carries. Gio Bernard had a carry and a fumble.
Revenge game.
Revenge game here. Take the football.
All right. You got anything with this game, or do you want to mention Isaiah Hodgins as a dark horse sleeper for 2023 for your Giants?
Why is he doing anything right now? That
4 for 37 on 4 targets.
I liked Isaiah Hodgins. I mentioned him last week on the podcast. I think he could be someone that sticks around with this franchise. They seem to like him. I hope we get rid of Daniel Jones. That's my hope in this world. I think his time is up, and he's part of that old regime that I really don't want to be bothered with anymore.
They have a couple quarterbacks they could definitely get in this draft class, and they are sneaking down the draft board. So
it looks like the Giants' defense right now is doing special things, and I know Barkley got into the end zone so far tonight, so that's good.
You know who I compare to Tyler Lockett is Terry McLaurin. Just underrated, same size and everything, gets open faster than you think. Terry McLaurin is going to be the new age Tyler Lockett, just underhyped. I do think the Commanders get another weapon. I think they get a new quarterback.
But didn't they just get a new weapon? Like they just got Jahan
Dotson. Yes, I forgot. Yeah. So
and Curtis Samuel's still there.
They don't have a DK Metcalf style of player.
No, they don't have a bigger alpha, like a 1B. They have Bs.
They have 2 Bs.
They have 2 Bs.
All right. Anything else about this week?
No, I think that's pretty much it. I think we did it, Tyler.
All right, everybody. I just want to thank you for pulling through with me, especially, and James, fantastic, of course. We will have Doug back next week. Actually, no, next week is Christmas.
Yeah.
So I will not be here.
James
will not be here. Doug mentioned he might sneak a little solo pod for you folks for a Christmas present. We will have to see. I know Doug said that he could do that. And if he does, you guys, I just want to wish you all a happy holidays and Merry Christmas from all of us at Dynasty Happy Hour. Well, the 3 of us. Yeah. But I'm very happy. I'm very excited for Christmas. I love this holiday. It's fun for me. And James, you want to say anything?
Yeah, I'll end on this note. I did like Jahan Dotson coming into this season, and he just scored another touchdown. At that point, Merry Christmas, you filthy animals, and a Happy New Year. I'll see you next time. We're out.